There are people who are happy enough or lucky enough or, positive enough that if you ask them, well, are you stressed out? Are you moved by a profound sense of dissatisfaction? Are you overlooking the present moment, kind of compulsively trying to get on to the next thing, even if in the present moment is full of the thing you thought you wanted a moment ago? They're kind of they're deeply insensitive to the dynamics of what's happening, and if you have a satisfying enough life for long enough, yeah, you can spend years and just seeing no point to this kind of consideration. Well, that's fine. You're a very happy person, who's very lucky, and not in a lot of physical pain, and no one's died. And you're one of these people. You're probably not Jewish, but you're probably one of these people who don't think about death, right? That's like you're not actually thinking about the possibility of your, parents dying or your kids dying, or So yeah, you're not. There are people like this who just, and there are many good ways. I mean, this is a psychologically strong way to be. It's nice to be resilient, right, and not to suffer much. So some of you get frustrated, but the thing you were counting on doesn't happen, and you spend 2 minutes being disappointed rather than 2 days or 2 weeks, right? So there are people who are very lucky just by dint of genes and upbringing, and they're not shopping for a path to enlightenment because they don't see a problem, right? It doesn't mean there isn't a problem. It doesn't mean that they're not going to crash and burn sometime, right? So a lot of what spiritual life is, and contemplative practice is a kind of training for the bad times, right? So you're kind of getting ready for the worst day of your life, right? And the worst day of your life is coming, right? If it hasn't happened already, it will happen eventually, right? And now you're with any luck, your bad times will not be as bad as humanly possible, right? It's possible to have, just an unendurably bad life, right? And we're all hoping we get luckier than that, but there's just no telling what's going to happen to any of us in the future. And in the future, as in the present, your mind is all you have, right? Your mind, your ability to be happy or be at peace in the midst of what is happening is whatever it is in this moment. And if it's untested in this moment because you have everything you want and you're comfortable, well, then you don't really know what tools you have to work with when the wheels start coming off. And people who have thought a lot about this have discovered that there are some tools that are worth having in hand. And when you become sensitive to how it is you suffer, there's not a lot going on there. They're not novel processes. It's just whenever you're suffering, really suffering, you are lost in thought. I mean, you are thinking. And these blows are meted out by your own mind on itself through this automaticity of just thinking without knowing that you're thinking. So the next thought arises, and it seems to be you. It seems to be what you are, and you feel that you're the thinker of your thoughts. And this is kind of paradoxical. You think that you think you're the author. A thought just arises, right, from who knows where. You certainly don't see it arise, and you certainly don't author it. But being identified with it carries with it the felt sense that you are the thinker. It seems to create a thinker that is separate from the thoughts. So if you're listening to me now and you don't really get what I'm saying, you might be thinking, well, what is this guy talking about? Right? So that thought, what is this guy talking about, just emerges, and it feels like you, right? The sense of self is a product of not seeing a thought as a thought arising in a larger condition of consciousness or the mind. And meditation training is a way of recognizing the prior condition in which thoughts and sensations and everything else arises. And at a certain point, you can notice thoughts themselves arise and not be any more identified with the voice in your head than you are with my voice. I mean, so I'm in understanding what I'm saying now. Just notice here. So if you're a speaker of English, you are, through no intention of your own, helplessly decoding the sounds I'm making now and understanding them. Right. So these, like, you can't. It's interesting to consider. I mean, you have absolutely no free will here. It's like you can't decide not to understand what I'm saying. I mean, that's just the word, the sound is coming in and it's meaningful to you. If you don't understand something I said, well, then you don't understand it through no free will of your own. I mean, you can't. This is being imposed on your mind, well, one way or the other, and your own thoughts are just like this. They just arise. Right? And you don't actually know what you will think next any more than you know what I'm going to say next. Right? It's just, it feels like you in a way that my voice doesn't feel like you. But it is, if you pay attention, fundamentally just as surprising. It's just as novel. It's just as ungoverned by you. You're not choosing it. You can't. To choose what you think would require that you think it before you think it.